Good morning. It looks like the crack party continues. Crack paid for with corruption, and now tech comes back with a little bit of a catch-up trade here, which has been underperforming, been under pressure with the uncertainty of interest rates, which I guess maybe the Fed came to the rescue there. Who knows? Anyway, we see the beginning of the turn yesterday. I suppose those in the know, the news began to leak, and you got the turnaround, the beginnings of the turnaround there. And now the Qs have pushed up into the resistance area to the left. Right? And so taking a look at it with a little bit more detail, going to the 60-minute time frame, we see it's coming to the beginnings of one pivot high and this little, let's call it minor resistance, and it backed off from there mildly, not a big deal. And so the deeper it gets into there, the more, I use the word potent, you could say powerful, the more buyers demand begin to absorb supply and take control. Then, of course, the next step in the thought process always is, well, you've gotten to your destination. What now? Once it gets here, aggressive buyers that are willing to step up within the void, sell, take profits, and those that may have bearish views, they sell, but intelligence, should you have a method that leads you in an intelligent way, would suggest that this weakness, if it can rally deeply into this area here, you got to be a little, I guess, head in the sand to want to short it. Other than look, different methods, different styles. There are some that may say, hey, it's up at 14,000. It's a big whole number. There was a pivot high up there. Let's just short some with a stop above the highs. Now, that's a plan. It may not be the best, but, just shorting up into this area is how things begin to turn. So we'll see, as it comes up into this area, how much sellers want to become aggressive and how buyers believe that, hey, this drop in interest rates or whatever is being looked at, it's worthwhile hanging up there. So as prices retrace into a resistance area, and whether this turns out possibly to be a downside shakeout, and it goes sideways here, and we see sideways price action versus, crazy kind of price action where it just goes right back down again, that would be bullish. And maybe no one's going away in May. Who knows? Is this a, just another fake out kind of a move similar to, what we've seen happening in the Russell, which has been a little crazy, or, break down, back up again, rally up above the pivot highs, all the way back down again. So, there's been a lot of erratic price movement in this market, no doubt. And then, one of our rules is, hey, when you're seeing crazy, compress the data, right? Go to a higher time frame. And that, if you're seeing it on a 2-minute chart and you go up to the 15-minute chart and you compress that, well, it begins possibly to make sense now. So we see lots of bottoming tails here and one topping tail. And this day isn't done yet, but if we were to get a green bottoming tail bar, I mean, it just clearly communicates that buyers continue to step up. They can't make much headway, but it's reaching an inflection point where you're going to have to really commit in a big way here. So, and I guess I thought maybe we'd resolve this week, but it doesn't seem that that's going to be the case. So, McGraw's asking about a 2150 put spread on Russell. 2150. I think that's safe if it expires today. I would think yes. If you're telling me next week, I don't know. I mean, it kind of depends. If we had a day that was complete, yeah, next week, that's what I thought you might say. Look, everything that we do at Master Trader, we have different concepts, and the art of what we do is putting together the concepts, right? But it's really common sense. So, and when it comes to options, waiting for some common sense takes some of the profit away, but the probability of making money increases. So that's the trade-off. So look, if this closes today as a green bar, closing near the high like that, and you want to go out to next week, I say that is a reasonable trade based on the breakdown failure, the move over the pivot highs, the pullback to this support, bottoming tail bar, and a green bar. And you've got, three, almost 4 bars, with intraday information building a base here. So that would make sense. And if it then you saw next week this breaking down through here, you're faced with the choice of, well, maybe that ain't working. And you can cut the position in half. You can go into what we call intelligent hope mode and say, well, it's pretty far away, but I've got this pivot low right here that's in front of my strike, and I think that'll hold. So there are choices based on intelligence, chart reading. So as of today, I'm not Quick Draw McGraw. I'm kind of like, I don't know what name you'd give me, but I guess it would be kind of a little bit more of a conservative. You can, you Quick Draw guys might give it a little girly name. I don't know, but to say, hey, Greg wants a little more confirmation there, to see how this bar ends the day, to see if it can have a bullish close. And what we're seeing here this morning, things hold on to the gains as they reach resistance. There you go, cautious climb. I like that. All right, so let's take a look at SPX, which, looking at this, I mean, the comeback yesterday afternoon, it just wouldn't go down. I said to Dan, I said, look at this 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 5-minute chart to go lower. And I said, Dan, the more this thing don't go down, the more nervous I get, because at the time I was short the Qs. And I guess, well, it wasn't, this is not the Qs, but I think it was around here. And it just kind of started to inch up, right? It was just, and then it just picked up steam. And so, I mean, I got out long before any of this, and I honestly didn't get back in to partake in the move up. And in retrospect, you always look at your trades and, 2020 hindsight, seeing what it did, it's easy for me to say, yes, I should have. But, things being erratic as they have been, I kept the powder dry, and now I'm like, you should have done it, whatever. Anyway, that's human nature. But so now SPX, there's some premium up at 42.40, which I think I would say that's safe because it's pretty on far away. Not a lot, but just do them real wide. And down below at 41.40. You got this low, you got that pivot. So it's money that I think is safe. This may hit this area up here. Well, let's go back to I don't know. We didn't even look at the S&Ps yet. They're right up here, right? So look, it ran this far. It's got a couple of pivots over here. And so that's your line in the sand early intraday, right in that area there, 41.90-ish, 91. It's up at resistance. So, and you're getting a little bit of, look at the rejections. Look at all the tails that are going on here. And not dropping, but every time it goes up there, sellers are stepping up to the plate and saying, hey, if they're long, take it. And you see the whipsaw back here. Maybe there was some news early in the morning. I think there was probably, bonds, it was 830. So look, if this starts to roll over a bit more, you know, I think 4240, I use the thing from training day. You want to go home? You want to go home tonight? I forget exactly how they said it, but that's the idea with these credit spreads, especially SPX. There's lots of leverage. And if it starts going up there, man, the heat's going to get turned up. And, you know, going down below, if it starts to drop, you'll get more premium. So, and that's how I like to do it. Wait for a little thing, and then on the put side, see how far it starts to drop, and then check the premiums down at the levels you think would be safe. Okay, we looked at the Russell. We didn't look at the Dow, which has been outperforming. And what the hell happened this morning? It was at 832. Right. So the Dow drops like the proverbial rock off the roof, and NASDAQ goes up like a rocket. Well, earlier in the week, we talked about this correction bar, and it has definitely followed through. Right? There was that rally at the end of the day, and, a little bit of rejection as it posts up there. But we've been saying all along during these periods of uncertainty where things went back and forth on the, NASDAQ deteriorating, the Russell deteriorating, but really choppy, and saying, well, you know what? Well, the Dow's choppy and it got wild over here. And I said, it's got to tighten up. Last week, it tightened up. You got a correction bar. It's up here, and the transport's been making new all-time highs. And so, it's a different type of a market, very select. And, the easiest types of markets when, the broader markets, they're firing on all cylinders and things are moving together. Not the case at the moment, but that's okay. Things change. So bonds, big move through this resistance area there. Weekly still in a downtrend. So this could still easily roll right back over again. But, as far as today goes, we'll start, but it's been rejected here. So now, as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, well, what are the Qs doing? They're still hanging there for the moment. Maybe they're waiting for the open to come with a new group of suckers to take shares off their hands. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. 10-year clearing this initial resistance area. So bottoming process, clearing pivots, suggests it can go up. And if that's the case, we know that interest rates have to go down. Right. So earlier in the week, and even in the letter, our newsletter, I said, set an alert at that pivot high, because if this turns up, that's going to make the market quite uncertain, but it couldn't do it. And now it's broken below. So, this weekly chart is still in an uptrend, and a lower high, lower low down here toward 140, into this area. Just looking at this chart, it doesn't matter to me what it is. But, if this was Apple, was corn, it was S&Ps, lower high, lower low in an uptrend, look for the reversal. That's a buy. I don't know if it'll work out, but, we'll see how this plays out. We got patterns, right? We got pictures. As picture traders, pattern traders, we have a library of pictures in our head in multiple time frames, and we wait for pictures to line up. Oil getting to resistance, a little pullback there, no big deal. Gold continuing to push up, and Bitcoin is just kind of hanging there. Had that crack in the wall, so far holding up. A little money coming out of Bitcoin and going into gold, possibly. It's getting the look of potentially rolling over. And silver, it's going up here. Talked about this one being a little bit more sloppy, but can play catch up. And transports, where are you? There we go. I mean, you couldn't get a much more bullish chart. Self-correcting kind of an uptrend, red bars ignored, red bars that turn into bottoming tail bars, and so on. So it's going up until proven otherwise. All yours, Dan.
Yeah, wow. Is all I have to say. I was looking at that reaction and I saw diamonds tanking and Qs just ripped over $3 right in your face, totally computer driven. And my initial reaction was WTF. Like, what? I don't understand this reaction. And then I noticed the bonds. I'm like, oh, that's why the Qs, the Qs, their cocaine is interest rates. So this was a perfect example of bad news is good news. Had a nice close here. Um, I don't know if Debbie's here, but I remember Debbie asked me, it's right in this ugly red bar yesterday. It was actually on XLK. Says, hey, Dan, what do you think about buying here? And I gave her my standard answer. There's no pattern. It's a sell setup here. I don't know what's going on. And then I took off right there to go for the gym. And then it's a 180 reversal. So that did turn out to be the low of the day. But the last hour of the day where Greg was saying his Q's short wasn't falling, that was a very impressive run. So we had a bullish bias for today. Let's see, Thomas is asking about X. There's no pattern, Thomas. There's no pattern. It needs to set resistance after 4 up days. Greg already talked about these. Gold, silver, yeah, beautiful close, gapping up. So yeah, gold, silver. Silver, you got this prior high, but they're both strong. Yeah, I'm gonna be going to that bet. Oliver, Piton, yeah, Piton's on my list. I just posted a no, when Piton's not on my list. It could be a day trade. This had earnings, got horrible news 2 days ago on recalling recalling 100% of their treadmills. So it got whacked, and today was earnings and the bullish gap up. So day trade maybe, but I have many better ones. Let me go through kind of my winnowed list that I looked at before the employment number. So let's see if any of them need adjusting. But look, this is a more fluid move down, pick up in volume after 8 red days, and now I got a bullish gap up over yesterday's high. So that looks great for a put spread, McGraw. iHeart, um, I can't tell where it's gapping, but looks good. Microsoft, one of you in the green room bought this into the close, and as it kept running into the close, I said I wish I joined you, but I was waiting for today, and waiting for today has a risk and reward. Sometimes you get paid, sometimes you wish you waited. Today's a day where you're getting paid, but it's making new entries more difficult. The Ray gapping up here, and weekly, monthly, I have room, so that's kind of a long watch. Net gapping up, fluid. That's a put spread idea. IAC, I thought it was gapping up. Nitra, gapping up a little bit. Fluid. Charlie India looks fantastic. Well, see, it's not fluid, so I really can't tell where it's gapping, but I'm going to put that here, Charlie India. Pod. Pod, look, beautiful fluid bars down, rising 200, support, pickup in volume. It had earnings, and I'm shocked. I don't see one single print of earnings, so I have no idea where it's going to open. But let me give this one to you. I already, well, I did two here. TDoc. I posted that before the employment number. Let's see here. I posted pod. There's the pod that I like. Since it's earnings, let's just give it 15 minutes and we'll assess. That'll give us a little bit of time to see if they're going to say anything, earnings release, whatever. CCL, CCJ. No pattern. No pattern. These were shorts yesterday. The cruise line sector. It's a mess. I like this winnowed down list that I'm going through for you all. 10 times better. There was an article in today's paper also saying the CDC has come out with guidance, and then Norwegian responded by saying, guess what, CDC, you're being a jerk. You're being a jerk and too tough. So now you're messing up my desired July 1 departure date. Thank you very little, is what they were saying politely. So no, I see nothing there. We'll talk about it later. I don't have the time now, but this is the first time I watched a very detailed interview with Gary, the new SEC chief on CNBC. He was on for solid 20 minutes, and I actually was very impressed with him. And I honestly don't know if he's a Democrat or Republican, and I don't care. I was impressed with him, his answers, his knowledge, but we'll talk about it later. CCJ, no great pattern. Had an ugly close. It's down pre-market, maybe a day trade, but that's not a short setup on the daily. Let me go through the rest of my things here. So that was pod. AIG, nice wide range breakout yesterday into earnings. That looks good. EOG, gap breakout. This is a beautiful 30-minute high and put spread. I'm going to put this in a separate window. Looks great. See, I winnowed all these down and deleted a bunch already. AXON. Gapping up fluid, maybe 30-minute high. What's a wide range bar on volume on support? Groupon, not much volume, but if it is gapping up here to 52, 30-minute high. Funko, gapping up, 22 bucks, 30-minute high. Roku, wow, that's a big old gap. Let's see, that gap's too big for me. I would have preferred, 3 to 305-ish based on the daily, just right over yesterday's high. Yeah, these are all earnings that I'm going through right now that I've already trimmed down the list so we could focus on my best ones. Did I do AXON? Yeah, and Nitra. Yeah, Nitra is another one. So there's a lot of good gap setups today. IEP looks kind of a breakout. MD, I can't tell where the gap is, but over yesterday's high looks higher. And yeah, Golf Hotel, another kind of Climo, bunch of fluid bars down. All right, so those were the ones that I separately wrote down. Urban, No, I didn't see that, but sure, looks good. Let's add it to the list. Yep, over yesterday's high, put spread and directional. I gave yesterday John Deere over yesterday's high, and now it's actually down a little bit, which makes it better. Or in McGraw's case, he likes to say more better. So let me set an alarm on the old Deere. 390, 70 should be good enough. Tesla, we have a call spread. Tesla call spread for today, but it was actually down pre-market. We have the 390s, so we should be fine. LOW was on my long list, and that's gapping down. So over yesterday's high looks fine. Florida, we're still in. WSM, I like as a put spread. But I looked at the spreads this morning, and they closed with crazy spreads. Okay. Yeah, yeah. When you get a big gap, you gotta watch it, see what it does. And so now it's a yeah, I remember McGraw, you did the 160. Now it's a 123 on the weekly. So Nokia might be in play. Let me continue the rest just to my miscellaneous list here. Oh, Expedia, here's another one. Gap's big though, but if we can get a put spread under yesterday's low, would be fine. And this is Honest Company. This is my girl Jessica Alba. When I saw her in that movie Bat-2-1 about in the scuba diving over in the Bahamas, Deep Blue, something blue. Man, I had a crush on her. And then she gets on the cover of Maxim and then gets married on me, and now she's a multi-millionaire with her new company here. So it had a good IPO day. Had an ugly day yesterday. Walker, your drop down? No, it's not Blue Planet. It's it's a different blue. Um, this poor coin. This is the Bitcoin exchange, and the people in the green room know that based on friends and family indicator, I was so bearish on this when it came out because everyone and their grandmother was talking about it, and that's a bearish um, sentiment indicator to me. Yes, Bat-2-1, I would appreciate that very much, very very much. Into the blue? No, into the blue. Something blue. Just Google Jessica Alba movies and just tell me what movie has the word blue in it. I did. Okay, we'll talk about it later. I don't want to waste too much time here. All right, this one, I just want to watch it and see if it can make the turn at the 200 here, but I need a potent reversal bar first. Um, T-Doc, why was I look? T. So I was saying, why am I looking at T-Doc? And the answer is duh, because we're in it, dummy. We're in T-Doc as a short. I tightened the stop already over this pivot based upon the bearish gap. So now I gotta adjust it again. Let's stop. Yeah, Q's getting sold a little bit. You know what? With this crazy market, I tell you what, let's give it 10-minute, 5-minute high. We have a nice profit. You know, and I was tempted to cover a third pre-market with that nice gap down. But I said, no, it's a bearish gap. Let me, you know, use a 15-minute high and try to get a bigger gain.